Good evening, students. In last video of before some days, we have studied that the human health and disease, different types of diseases we have discussed. Okay, we have discussed swine flu, and we have also discussed some small part of common cold, and then we have discussed typhoid, and last we have discussed the chikungunya and which type of disease are generally created by several types of virus and bacteria, protozoans, and we have also studied the ringworms. Generally, ringworms are spread by the different types of fungus-like substance. When they are set onto the body of human beings, they create different types of malfunctioning with the cell wall. That time, our body facilitate like a ringworm structures. Okay, so apart from that, there is a several types of more disease is given in your Civil book and NCERT book also, but we have to study one by one in a sequence manner, and we will study whole part by different types of virus. Okay, because when we start the chapters, firstly you all have to clear that several types of disease are generally created by several and different types of virus and bacteria. Okay, not single virus can perform all the types of disease. Every disease generally spread by different types of virus and different types of bacteria and fungus also. Okay, note one. Next we are going to discuss that the topic of today class, and that is the common cold. Okay, generally common cold, we know that some of the features are generally similar with the coronavirus, which are spreading in a nowadays in all over the world, and due to the adverse action of coronavirus, most of the human beings are generally going to a rapid death stage. Okay, so common cold is a more dangerous disease, but it is not a dangerous comparison than corona. But here common cold, we can know that common cold is simple called as cold. Okay, cold means thandi. Next, it is also called complex syndrome. Complex syndrome means there is an incubation period in which the human beings generally feels very weak and fatigue their body structure up to 1 week. Okay, 7 to 10 days there is a symptoms of the common cold are generally occurs in the human beings. So here the common cold is a complex syndrome which is caused by rhinovirus. Okay, in previous video we have studied Toga virus, and now here we have to study the rhinovirus. Okay, rhinovirus is a special type of virus which generally causes the common cold. Okay, now after causing, how the rhinovirus affect the human beings, because when we snitch in front of any persons, that time our droplets of water which are generally emitted from our nose that stopped and wait in the environment after some times and approx 18 hours. Okay, rhinovirus surviving capacity in our environment is approx 18 hours. After that it will denatured by the different types of actions of sun radiations and many more things. Okay, जो इनकी कैपेसिटी होती है राइनो वायरस के एटमॉस्फेयर में, वो जनरली 18 यानी 18 घंटे, ठीक है, 18 मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट 18 आवर्स तक होती है. उसके बाद इट विल बी डीनेचर्ड. अगर उसके कांटेक्ट में कोई नहीं आता है तो वो बीमारी उसको नहीं होगी, बट most of the human beings are generally get close to that things, and that person is also infected by the disease. So the transmissions of common cold is the airborne droplets means we can also know that air droplets, and we have studied the particulate droplets which are generally suspended in the atmosphere for several times. Okay, that is called the airborne. Okay, ये हवाओं से generally फैलते हैं, and most important point we are going to discuss that it is generally spread by direct contact with infected person. Suppose one person is infected by with a common cold, and if you come close to that person's, definitely their virus will enter in your body, and your body will also respond to the common cold. Okay, so that type of diseases can be transmitted from one infected person to one healthy persons. Okay, so common cold is the most dangerous disease. Now coming to the next point, we have also discussed surviving capacity of rhinovirus. It approx 18 hours it can survive in our atmosphere. After that it will be denatured. Okay, now after causing the human effect, we have discussed how the rhinovirus enter into the human body. Now after entering the human body, विच टाइप ऑफ सिम्टम्स जनरली ऑकर्स, ओके, किस प्रकार के सिम्टम्स जो है ह्यूमन बींग्स में देखने को मिलते हैं. सो फर्स्ट सिम्टम्स इज दैट द फंक्शन इज रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट इज गोइंग टू डू अ मल फंक्शनिंग. हमारा जो रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट होता है वो मल फंक्शनिंग स्टेज में आ जाता है. इट मीन्स इट डज नॉट स्टिमुलेट प्रॉपर वे, ओके, इट डज नॉट फंक्शन वेल. ठीक है, इनका जो फंक्शन होता है वो प्रॉपर नहीं कर पाते हैं. नेक्स्ट, नोज, थ्रोट एंड वॉइस बॉक्स ऑल्सो क्रिएट सेवरल टाइप्स ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स. ओके, जो नोज होते हैं, थ्रोट होते हैं, जो वॉइस बॉक्स है, विच बिकम्स हैवियर when the human beings feels common cold. जब भी human beings common cold को feel करते हैं, that time their nose, throat and voice box also create different types of problems. But still there is a more symptoms. And which type of symptoms? Generally common cold patient felt chilling atmospheric. Okay, chilled means होता है बहुत ठंडी. ठीक है, जो common cold के patient होते हैं उनको ज्यादा ठंडी लगती है. ठीक है, now next, the whole body structure is generally come to the stage of fatigue. Fatigue is a special type of stage in which human beings does not respond well. ठीक है, वो अपने आप को बहुत थका हुआ मानेगा. That is called the fatigue stage. Now next we are going to discuss that it several times the common cold also causes fever in human beings. ठीक है, if the resistance power of the human beings are weak, it means rhinovirus causes fever in human beings also. Okay, ठीक है. Now next we are going to discuss that the symptoms will be approx 7 to 10 days. Okay, now symptoms is generally occurred in human beings are 7 to 10 days. Okay, this is also an incubation period. After that the common cold will be went. Okay, now next we have to discuss that which types of prevention and precautions should be needed for avoiding the common cold diseases. So firstly, there is a most of the medicines are generally available in the market. Different types of antibiotic, different types of steroidal, non-steroidal medicines are there, but they are not effective to stop the common cold because it is a generally virus. When the virus will denature, definitely it will be cured. The first one is that prevention and control. You should regularly हैंड वॉशिंग. ओके, आपको हमेशा जो है, जैसे अभी हम लोगों ने कोरोना के बारे में जो भी टॉपिक डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, प्रॉपर हैंड वॉश, हमारा जो हैंड वॉश होना चाहिए वो प्रॉपर होना चाहिए. एंड वी हैव टू मेंटेन द सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग. ओके, वी हैव टू मेंटेन अ सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग. सपोज there is a A patient which are infected with corona and there is a B patient, it is a healthy person. ठीक है, that person is generally affected by corona and we can say that common cold, and this person is healthy. If B come close to A, definitely A virus will be entered to the B part. Okay, अगर कोई A वाला इफेक्टेड है, B वाला हेल्दी है, B वाला A के क्लोज में आता है, डेफिनेटली इसके जो वायरस है उसमें एंटर करेंगे. दैट इज कॉल्ड द कम्युनिकेबल डिजीजेस वी हैव स्टडीड. सो two most important point is that proper hand washing and social distancing should be maintained when you feel common cold. Okay, definitely it will be cured. So apart from that, we have to discuss some more important topic. The same as it is common cold, we also know that pneumonia. Okay, pneumonia is a dangerous disease in which approx 4 million people are generally death पर ईयर. ओके, करीबन 4 मिलियन के करीबन इनमें जो है ना हर एक साल में डेथ होती है. बट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट इज दैट इट ऑल्सो इन्फ्लामेटरी कंडीशंस ऑफ लंग अफेक्टिंग डिजीज. ये हमारे लंग्स के अंदर के जो पार्ट्स होते हैं उसको ये डिस्टर्ब कर देते हैं, मल फंक्शनिंग कर देते हैं. इट मीन्स द रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट्स आर नॉट अ प्रॉपरली वर्किंग एंड सेवरल टाइम्स द ह्यूमन बीइंग्स आर फीलिंग वेरी सफोकेशन by not using a proper oxygen and they die. Okay, so here we have to discuss that it is generally caused by bacteria. Okay, several types of bacteria we have studied, and now it is also caused by the several types of virus. Generally pneumonia is caused by bacteria and virus, and bacteria and virus are generally two different types, but their most of the structures and features are generally correlate with each other. But now here we have to discuss that in Griffith experiment of bacteria we have studied that bacterial pneumonia is caused by streptococcus pneumonia and second Haemophilus influenza. Okay, several types influenza we know that it is what related to common cold, but streptococcus pneumonia is a special type of bacteria which is generally caused bacteria in the mice, and mice go to die stage. In Griffith experiment we have studied that. Now next we are going to discuss that how the pneumonia transmit from one body to another. Okay, by first one is that aerosols droplet. As we have discussed in common cold, aerosol is the same as it is. ठीक है, aerosol same है हमारा जैसे हमने common cold में पढ़ा. Now next that sharing the utensils. Okay, suppose A is the infected part. If B sharing the utensils from A to B, definitely बी विल ऑल्सो सफर फ्रॉम दैट टाइप ऑफ डिजीज. बर्तन वगैरह जो होते हैं वो भी शेयर नहीं करना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट, फेलगम ऑफ पेशेंट्स. फेलगम ऑफ पेशेंट्स मींस इट इज अ जनरली वर्ड रिलेटेड टू कफ, ओके, व्हिच इज जनरली vomited out from the patient's body, that is called phlegm. Okay, these are very sticky and thick in natures. Okay, that is called the phlegm. And phlegm also create different types of bacteria which are generally spread in our surrounding and also causes disease of different body. Okay, now coming to the next point, the incubation period of pneumonia is generally 1 to 3 days. After 1 to 3 days the symptoms will occur in your body and the doctor examine that and they clear that you are suffering from the pneumonia. So apart from this, next we have to discuss that how the prevention and control we have to take when the human beings feel pneumonia and which type of medicines are responsible for control different types of diseases here. So coming to the next part, we have to discuss the symptoms of pneumonia. Okay, we have studied how the pneumonia caused, but we didn't study the causes of symptoms that occurs in human's body. Generally the different types of bacteria and virus infect our limbs and mucosal tissues. Okay, mucosal tissues and limbs in the bronchioles and alveoli. We have studied in 9th and 10th class also in lungs. Okay, bronchioles and alveoli, and resulting in the problem of, okay, after the infections generally takes place in human beings, these types of virus and bacteria causes cough. Okay, cough in human beings, difficult breathing. I already told you that problem of taking oxygens, okay, in a proper way. And next, chest pain we also know that what is the meaning of chest pain. ठीक है, chest pain होने लगता है. And high grade fever. Okay, high grade fever means the fever may be approx 104 degree Fahrenheit to 105 degree Fahrenheit, and several times the patients die. उस समय क्या होता है, कभी कभी पेशेंट जो है इससे मर जाते हैं. But now the profused sweating मतलब बहुत ज्यादा मात्रा में स्वेटिंग होती है, पसीने बाहर आते हैं. And the lips and nails are generally bluish in color. हमारे जो lips हैं और जो nails होते हैं वो generally bluish color में turn हो जाते हैं due to the actions of several types of bacteria and virus. Okay, so what we have discussed today, we have discussed the cough, symptoms of pneumonia, difficult breathing, taking oxygen proper way. Okay, now chest pain and high grade fever approx 105 degree Fahrenheit. And now profused, you all have to note that in your fear copy. Profused means बहुत ज्यादा मात्रा में sweating. We already know that the bluish color of lips and nails are generally occurred in the pneumonia. If these types of symptoms are generally occurs in your body, definitely you can examine that you are suffering from pneumonia disease. But generally most of the aged persons and most of the infant childs are generally smaller, 1 to 3 years, are generally sustainable for this type of diseases, and they are very weak types of resistance power they have. Okay, so coming to the next part, preventions. When the pneumonia introduced in our world, that time no any proper vaccines are there and most of the human beings are generally die. But there in our world the several types of vaccines are available in the market for clearing and controlling the symptoms of pneumonia. And second way, we should also know that the hand washing the best way and not a smoking, because स्मोकिंग का यहाँ पे क्यों यूज किया गया है, वाई, क्योंकि न्यूमोनिया में हमारे ब्रोंकियल्स और एल्वोलाई हो जाते हैं, चॉक्ड हो जाते हैं, ठीक है, जाम हो जाता है. सेम हियर, नॉट स्मोकिंग का मतलब है कि जो स्मोकिंग करते हैं उनके जो भी गैसेस वगैरह होते हैं वो उनके एल्वोलाई और ब्रोंकियल्स में भी जाके और प्रॉब्लम करते हैं, जिस कारण से उन्हें डिफिकल्ट ब्रीथिंग का जो प्रोसेस है वो और ज्यादा इंक्रीज हो जाएगा. ओके, सो लास्ट पॉइंट इज दैट several types of antibiotics are generally available in the market. Okay, बहुत सारे ऐसे एंटीबायोटिक्स मेडिसिन जो है आज की डेट में मार्केट में अवेलेबल है, जिस कारण से we can control the pneumonia disease. Okay, now apart from that we have discussed common cold and pneumonia. Both are important topic for the exam purpose, and you will have to write. I am giving a one questions in a separate way. First question is that what do you mean by common cold, and write their causative agents, symptoms, and control and preventions. Okay, four steps you all have to write an answer very clearly. Second question is that what do you mean by pneumonia, their causative agents, their symptoms, and how we can control pneumonia and their prevention and control. You all have to mention and send your answers in my personal WhatsApp. Till then, whatever I have taught you regarding the 8th chapter, human health and disease, you all have to make a separate notes. If you get any problem, you can contact me. Okay, thank you, students.